So again, welcome to week 2 of Enhance Your Psychic Senses. I'm repeating that because I just started the recording. We have a huge class today, and I'm so excited about it because if you can get this down, this is really where a lot of psychics stop, the Akashic Records. It houses all the information ever compiled, like ever thought of. All the thoughts, all the actions, all the everything that ever was, ever will be, ever is now, even though that doesn't make sense. And this is where psychics go to get past life information, to get possible future information, to find your soul contracts, your blueprints, everything. So we're going to get really comfortable in there today, and we're going to do a bunch of different things. But first, for those of you who don't really know what the Akashic Records is, even though I know all of you do, it's just this big storehouse of information. There are entities, guides that kind of curate the Akashic Records and help us access them. So we're going to go there today with an escort, and that escort is going to be an angel. Now, it's kind of arbitrary. You can use your angels or your guides. But since a lot of people that I've met recently have some guides that aren't necessarily wonderful, and by the way, yes, you will be getting your bonus guide readings this week. I've decided that from now on, I'm just going to instruct people to use an angel to help them get to the Akashic Records. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about guides. So we get an escort, which is as easy as asking for one. We go to the Akashic Records, and then we ask them to give us the information that we want. Now, that's really the hard part. So the hardest part of dealing with the Akashic Records is having a good question. And I've created a handout this week. It's not on the page you're looking at if you're on the webcast, but I did put it in the Facebook group. So I'll add it I'll ask Gretchen to email it to all of you. Hi, Gretchen. And it gives you a rundown of kind of what the different themes of questions you can ask. Like today we're going to be accessing past life information. We're going to be asking about our soul contracts. And those are contracts with people in our lives. And we'll talk more about each of those when we get to them. And we're also going to ask about our own soul blueprint. All of those can illuminate a massive amount of shadow in us. They can tell us why we hated our mother growing up. They can tell us why we are afraid of fire. They can tell us why we've always felt like we were on this one path and we had to accomplish this one thing. And if there are unanswered questions about those things, like why in the hell would I sign up for this? Like why is life so hard? Or why do I feel compelled to do this thing when, nobody makes money as an artist or whatever it is your thing is? It's because we assigned ourselves these tasks. But if we don't know that, if we're just kind of like in the shadows of our own choices, it can feel really, really hard to handle. We can get really lost in that. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be empowered. I want you to know that you made those choices. And I want you to know how to navigate them once you are aware. So in the case of, contracts with other people, you can delete them. You can get yourself out of them. And oftentimes that's really necessary. Often when a contract is complete and we've learned as much as we can, we forget that now that we're here, that we can move on. And, when we don't move on from those things, whether it's a change in our life theme, a change or a completion of a contract, or we're not integrating what we need to integrate from past lives, and so we find ourselves in these patterns that are not healthy. Anytime you're stagnant, normally, if it's beyond a reasonable amount of time, then you're normally stuck in a pattern. You're not moving on from a relationship that's been done with. You've finished integrating the trauma, but, and we've seen these people who are just like married without love for 30, 40 years. They're just going through the motions of life, or the people who stay in a job because they feel like they have to. Sometimes they're missing things, sometimes they just haven't looked at these contracts, their soul blueprint, and, gotten what they needed to get out of those past lives and moved on. So you'll know for yourself if you're feeling stagnant or restless. That normally means you have what it takes to make a new move, but you just don't know where to go. It happens to all of us, even very psychic people. We're very good at being very aware, but we still have blind spots. And it takes really going to the Akashic Records with an open mind or having someone else read for you to move on and to move into the right direction. So yeah, that's what you're going to learn today. It's going to be really easy, and I want you to know that this is easy. This is so easy. I have had people learn this from me who have taken 8-week courses on it and use a pendulum, and there's all these processes and steps, and they're like, oh, I could just go there? And, yes, you can just go there. You have every right to be there. We're going to have an escort, and that escort will take you there. So, yes, it's easy. Our mindset for today, and this is really important, so listen up. The mindset for this call is that we're always right. You are always right. And any hunch that you get while we're doing this work, you are always right. What is, is. If you get an answer, even if it doesn't make sense, what is, is. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. That is what you've been given. No judgments, okay? And then this last one is the most important. Even nothing is something. It may sound like I'm giving you a bunch of riddles, but even nothing is something. So many times people come up to me in class and they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so upset I didn't get anything, but this purple wall that turned into a spiral and was talking to me and said the color red. I'm like, well, that's something. And then the other people will come up and they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. I didn't get anything except my pinky finger was throbbing. And then there are these people who really, honest to goodness, cannot perceive any change in them when they're doing this work. And oftentimes I feel like those are the people who have a knowing inside of them, and they just need to allow that knowing to be okay. So for instance, how I work in the Akashic Records is, I do several different things there, but when I'm doing a lot of readings in a row, what I'll do is I'll just take out my notebook and I'll write down the person's name, because that's what I use to do the reading. I just use their name. And I'll just say, okay, Angel, bring me to the Akashic Records and give me a list of their soul gifts. And then I don't see anything, I don't feel anything. All I do is words just start popping into my head. And now I've never met these people before, most of them. And so, somebody who's never done it before can certainly think, oh, well, I'm just making this up. But literally, it's just words popping into my head, and I just write them down. It's that easy, and that's what's going to happen for you today. So just remember, however it comes to you, sometimes it will be in a movie clip, like a little, 2-3 second movie clip that just kind of repeats. Sometimes there's color, sometimes there's words, but often it's just like a little film strip. Sometimes it will be just things popping into your head. a color, a word, a phrase, an emotion. Sometimes it'll be physical, like a part of your body starts to feel heavy, or sometimes a little painful, like if you were killed by a beam falling on your leg, and you lost your leg and you died, you may feel pressure on your knee or something like that. That happens really often. It's not harmful to you. It's just the energy showing you what happened. And all of that's okay, even if you get nothing. Because if you fight that, then the resistance is going to be even greater and you'll get even more of nothing. So if you get nothing in the beginning or at the end, just go with it. Thank it. Thank you, nothing. Thank you so much for allowing me to experience nothing. That is the whole idea. Thank whatever you get, and then you'll get more. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. I didn't get any responses from asking about your personal routine, but I know a lot of you came on the call after I asked that, so I'm just going to ask again. If anyone wants to share, if you started adding things to your day to help you with this, so if you started any meditation or chanting or toning or going for a walk or drinking more water, press *2 on the phone or type something into the webcast. Oh, we got a hand. And I'd just love to hear about it. There's no guilt either way. I'm just trying to give you the best information possible so you can do what you want with this. You don't have to practice. You'll just get more out of this if you do practice. So let me go to, it's a cell phone, and it's 203-751. Hi.
Yes. Hi, it's Donna.
Hi, Donna.
How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I just upped my ante on how much I'm meditating. I didn't get to do everything every day, but with more meditation, and I drink more water, eating better, and I have shaken it out a couple times. Actually, I shook out before I got on this call. I have my in-laws are here for a week, so I had a lot of stuff to do right before here. But nonetheless, real quick, I just want to say, oddly enough, today in the grocery store, I was busting for time, and I had a short list for a family of 5. But I guess I was kind of lightly, mindlessly going through, and oddly enough, every single thing on my list that I wanted was tagged by this 6-inch yellow manila type of not a ribbon. It was paper. But every single one of them, maybe one not, but every single one of them had it, and I was like, oh, there it is. And I would just reach for that manila thing. It was odd. It was awesome.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
I think it was something helping me out, because I had a short list but a short amount of time, and I had to come back and clean my house. So, I was trying to get in and out, and I think I wasn't very focused, really, on shopping, because I have a laundry list of things I needed to get done. And I don't know if somebody was at Stop and Shop that was doing inventory, because it wasn't on everything. It was only on the things I needed. It was so cool, and I was really grateful for it. I mean, the random things, like AA batteries to cheese, it wasn't just one type of things. It was very odd. I was very appreciative, because it was oh, there it is. It was like a flag, literally.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad.
Oh, pleasure.
And if you haven't read Busting Loose from the Money Game, I know it sounds unrelated, but that book explains a lot of why these things happen. It's really cool. So thanks again.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I love it when our physical world is shaped by us. And it always is. But when we start to realize that, even stranger things happen, so that we kind of are reinforced that that's what the case is. So that's really cool. I have a friend who I've known for a while, and we both read the book together. And she's literally seen cars disappear on the highway. My roof changed color. Really crazy things can happen once you start to plug into that idea that we're living in a hologram and we construct it. So keep going with that. That's really, really cool. All right, I'm just going to check the webcast Q&A really quickly. Okay, good. Nice. I don't have your name, but she says, I've been journaling more and seeing great intuitive information coming through. Awesome. So, and I know I kind of discussed this maybe in the first class, but maybe I didn't. Being in a group, even if we're not in person, is a real booster. It's like an amplifier of our energy. So the fact that we're all here doing this together will mean that this is going to be an enhanced experience for you. So I just want to let you know that the group is really powerful. Feel free to post in the Facebook group in between classes and practice doing readings for each other. That's actually going to be your homework for today. So participate, get to know each other, and, form a nice network so that you have someone to talk to when those really awesome things happen. Okay, so like always, preparation is the most important thing to being open and ready for receiving information. So let's get silly and do our little warm-ups. So I have my singing bowl here. I don't know how it's going to sound over the phone, but I'm going to try to make a nice tone for you and just kind of breathe it in. Try to relax. I wonder what your experience of that was. For me, I feel just more relaxed, more focused. Kind of like all the nonsense is gone out of my brain. If you had an experience of that you want to share, or even if you want to tell me that it just sounded like, a bunch of garbled sound, then go ahead. Okay, so I do have some comments on the Q&A about the routine, and that first comment was from Jen. Thank you, Jen. And someone wants to know the name of the book. So the book is called Busting Loose from the Money Game by Robert Scheinfeld. He also has Busting Loose from the Business Game, which you can also read. It has the same information in it, just the ends are a little different. So Busting Loose from the Money Game. And Vessel says, I've been practicing using breath, toning, visualizations, grounding, and higher connecting early in the morning seems best for me. I've been asking the angels what message they have for me each day and hearing their reply. Awesome. I know it's from them because the messages are simple yet important things for me to remember. I also ask for some confirmation so that I would know for sure the message is coming from guides and not mind chatter. The sign was my head nodding yes and no automatically with the simple yes and no answers. As you say, it's really very simple. Exactly. And Vessel said something really important too. Normally, your guides, your angels, anyone really of a high vibration who you're asking advice from is going to be very clear and very concise. So she says that the messages for her were simple yet important. And that's exactly how they're going to come through. Whether you're talking to Jesus, an angel, your personal guides, what they say is going to be very powerful, but normally very short. So you can have longer conversations with these guides, but that's not how it's normally going to be in the beginning, just so you know. I'm not sure what you mean. She said the sound sounded like it is what I'm supposed to be. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but as long as you could hear the tone, then that's all good. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of shaking again, just so that you can, if you didn't have the greatest experience with that tone because you're over the phone, we can just shake out all the sillies, get out all of that stuff from our heads and our bodies that's been sitting there all day. And so I'm just going to give you a moment to shake it out. I'm going to shake it out too. Okay, so hopefully you are toned and shaken. You've got a smile on your face. Keep going until you're smiling. And we're going to do a little warm-up meditation together. And then we're going to go to the Akashic Records and access some past life information. So before we do the meditation, just remember that nothing is something. So if this doesn't seem to work for you in the beginning, be grateful anyway. And that you're always right. Whatever you get, whatever you feel, whatever you hear is right. Don't judge it. Just take it for what it is. Okay, there's no judgment in the Akashic Records. It just is. Does anyone have any questions so far before we get into that? Don't be shy. There's no wrong question here. Just press *2 on the phone if you have a question, or type it into the webcast. Okay, and Deborah said, it connected me to be the sound. Yeah, exactly. You just kind of melt into the sound. That's how I feel about it too. And Vessel says, speak only truth, have fun. That was the first message she got. So true, right? Speak only the truth and have fun. I was just told to have fun today. I had a reading done for me by Sonia Choquette today. And she was like, you need to have more fun. So that was my message too. Okay, so nobody seems to have a question so far. So what we're going to do is a little meditation, and then I'm going to ask you to request your escort, and all you have to do for that is just say, dear, angel, please come and escort me to the Akashic Records. You can even say it in your own language, but just, angel, please come and take me to the Akashic Records. Is all you're going to be, all you're going to say, and I'll let you know when we get there. And then when we are ready, we're going to access some past life information. And it's up to you what you want to know. So past life information can help us get over phobias. It can help us see our blind spots, any patterns that we don't know how to get out of. And if you're into astrology, we can ask about our South Node stuff. So South Node, that's kind of where we get stuck, where we feel comfortable. And oftentimes, our past lives have given us a theme or a pattern already, and then we just keep playing it out life after life after life. Like for me, I've always been a nurturer. I've always taken care of people. People have always abandoned me, and so I always feel like I have to be responsible for them. And if I stayed there, if I stayed in that pattern in this lifetime, I wouldn't be able to transcend that and really fulfill my potential. In other words, I wouldn't really be able to find my true fulfillment and my true happiness. So that is how big these past life things can be. So if I was really feeling stuck and not knowing where to go next, I could go and ask my angel to bring me to the Akashic Records, and I would say, show me what is holding me back from achieving, fill in the blank. So show me what is holding me back from making a decision to leave my partner, Or show me what is holding me back from really deciding to have my own business. Or show me what is holding me back from finishing my degree. That's something that can be really helpful because it'll show you something from the past that you're holding on to that you haven't integrated. Does that make sense? I won't pick up, but can you give me a star 2 if that makes sense, or a little something in the Q&A chat box? Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. I love your feedback. All right, so now we're going to start the meditation, and then I'll let you know when to call in your angel, and then I'll kind of prompt you on what to say when we go to the Akashic Records. Remember, this is natural. This is normal for you. You do this all the time anyway. You're just not conscious of it. All right, so get comfortable. And just start to breathe, start to sigh. Let out all of that nonsense. You can, swirl your ankles around, move your neck. Do some circles with your wrists. Anything to just get the energy flowing in your body more. You can stretch out your legs a little bit if you're sitting. And then start to breathe all the way down into your belly. Take in a breath at your natural pace. Just bring it down to your belly. You can even put your hand on your belly and feel your abdomen rise and fall. Rise and fall. And keep breathing and access the feeling of gratitude. With each breath, just thank the breath for helping you, for keeping you alive without you even having to ask. Thank that breath for existing. And allow your body to feel supported and to feel safe. And allow yourself to really feel supported by whatever you're sitting or laying on. Hand over that extra potential, that extra weight, any stress. Hand it over to whatever is supporting you physically. That object or that floor is representing the earth energy. The earth wants your problems. The earth wants to take care of you. And if we let it, then we can do our job, which is to work on us, to be happy, to be present and in the moment. So any excess that you can't deal with or you don't want, or you're finally ready to let go of, just give it to that chair or the floor and let the earth handle it. You are enough without having to carry a burden. Let out a nice deep sigh or a yawn. Okay. Now, as you breathe in, keep that feeling of gratitude alive. allow your body to participate and start to wake up and feel warm and tingly. And breathe from a spot that's 3 feet away from you. Whether it's right in front of your nose, 3 feet ahead, or it's up on top of your crown chakra, 3 feet up. Just take your breath from that place. Breathe it into you and down into your belly. And start to feel that extended relaxation. You can spread out now in your own energy field, completely safe, completely loved. And keep breathing from that place and allowing yourself to know that all around you is you. It's not air, it's not open space, it's you, your energy field, your space, your home. You are never without a home. You are never out of place because you always live inside of yourself. So keep breathing from that spot that's 3 feet away from you and feel the ease in that space. And now, as you breathe in, remind yourself that your higher self, which is always connected to Source, is always delivering you any kind of wisdom that you desire, is always aware of your soul blueprint and how to get to the Akashic Records. That is who you are. That is the real you. You're never separated from your higher self. And that as you breathe in from 3 feet away from you, you are integrating that knowledge and that awareness. And you're becoming an even stronger channel for yourself. So keep breathing that in. Give yourself a smile, knowing that. And send some love to your higher self and feel it come right back to you. Feel that feedback loop of self-appreciation. Feel your heart open up. Feel that warmth go all the way down to your toes. And feel excited that you are really connected to the truth of yourself. Okay. So now that you are integrated and primed and ready and relaxed, you're going to call in your escort. And so in your mind or aloud, just say, okay, angel, please come and take me to the Akashic Records. You don't have to feel anything different. You're not actually going anywhere. And then form your question. And the method I suggest is to say, show me, or please show me, what is holding me back from and then insert the blank. So please show me what is holding me back from, and then insert the blank. And then receive whatever it is you receive. If you've received something, you can press *2 so I know, or type something in the chat. If you're still waiting, that's okay. Just relax and keep breathing. Okay. So I saw that a bunch of you are done, and a bunch of you are not done. Okay. So what I'm going to say now is, it's like conversation with a person. When you're asking someone a question, you ask the question, you say, "How are you?" And then you can feel a shift from speaking to waiting. You can feel it. It's visceral. So ask a question like you're asking a person. How are you doing? And you can feel the pause that you create so that you can receive their information. And so just make sure that when you're in the Akashic Records, you're doing that. You're pausing, creating a space so that the answer can come in. It's very natural to you, but some people, when they go to the Akashic Records or they ask a question of their guides, keep asking, or they keep the intention in their mind, or they forget that they have to make space for the answer. So hopefully that will help if you haven't gotten anything yet. We'll do it one more time. And maybe think of asking a different question. So if you have a phobia, if you have a pattern, or if you haven't been able to move forward in your life in one area or another, ask about that. And you can even be more specific in your question and say something like, okay, Angel, please take me to the Akashic Records and show me the lifetime where this pattern originated. Or show me the lifetime that is most relevant to me moving forward. Okay? So I'm going to let you go there again and just use those words. Angel, please bring me to the Akashic Records and show me the lifetime that fill in your blank. Okay? And then when you're done, press star 2 on the phone or say something in the chat so that I know, and we can move on. And I won't pick up, so don't worry. Okay, so I see a bunch of you had some success this time. That's awesome. Some of you I see didn't raise your hand. That's okay. And remember, nothing is something. So if you're feeling frustrated right now, that's totally fine. Grr it up. Just feel it. Really feel it. You don't have to stuff it away. I definitely know how it can be frustrating, but luckily we have 2 more topics that we're going to go in for, so you'll probably find a little bit more success than the others. Sometimes the reason we don't get an answer is because we really can't handle it, or on some level we really don't want to know. Sometimes we're not supposed to know, and so you can't blame yourself for not getting something. Sometimes it's just not in the cards to know that particular thing. It's happened to me, it's happened to everybody else I know. So don't judge yourself for not being good at this or whatever else it is. You could be great at it, just be asking a question that you're not supposed to know the answer to. Okay, so shake it out. Woo. Okay, and drink some water. And we're going to move on. So the next area that we're going to talk about is contracts. And soul contracts can make our life really sticky, but also really great. And I just want to mention quickly that the myth of the soulmate. A lot of people want their soulmates to be in their lives, and they think it's going to be this intense, romantic, passionate kind of love, and it can be, but soulmates are a contract that we make that's often very, very, what is even the word? I wanted to say torrential, and that's probably an accurate word. So they can be just very dynamic, very volatile. They can really press your buttons and make you grow so fast, or they can destroy you. I mean, soulmate relationships are really intense normally, and that's why we make the contract. Because if we didn't, then we'd probably try to avoid it. Love at first sight is often a symptom of a contract. Feeling like you can't get away from someone is a symptom of a contract. Having abusive parents is also a contract. You know, we are not really humans. We don't really have these bodies. We're not really physical. We really are spirit. And so whatever is done to these physical bodies is temporary. We don't really get harmed. We don't really die. We're not really abused. It's all an act. It feels real for a reason, because we want to experience it, but it's really just an act. And in fact, the people who are the worst to us really love us the most, because it's very hard to come here and do what they need to do. And that could sound really controversial if you're not used to looking at the world like that, but we sign up for it, and we ask for it, and we sign contracts with those beings to help us experience the life that we feel will be most beneficial for us. And a lot of times that does include some so-called negative things. I've been there. I've been through that. I had a very tumultuous soulmate relationship, but wouldn't change it for the world. And now I'm in a relationship that you'd call a life partner relationship, which is very supportive, very open, still has a lot of lessons in there, but it's a lot less dramatic. I hung up the drama, and I'm much happier now. So, I think we're going to ask a pretty easy question this first time, and we're just going to say, we're going to ask our angel to bring us to the Akashic Records, and we're going to say, show me one person I have a contract with now. Okay? You still might not see a face. You might hear something. You might sense something. You might feel something. But be open to this information in any way that it comes. Don't have a preconceived notion. If you get the word yellow, have that be okay. All right? So get comfortable again. Shake off any frustration if you're feeling that way. And remember that it's a conversation. So, and oftentimes it will come very fast, like even before you're done answering or asking the question. Okay, so remember, you're always right. You're always right, even if it feels like it just popped into your head, like you're thinking it up. If it comes first, then it's really the truth. All right, so sigh, yawn, get back into that relaxed state. Move around your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. My jaw gets very tight. I don't know about you. Open it up, move it around. And breathe from that place that's 3 feet away from you. Realize that you're bringing in your higher self consciously while you're doing that. You're expanding who you are, how you identify yourself. So breathe in from that place until you feel ready. And when you're ready, the angels take me to the Akashic Records and show me the face of one person I have a contract with. And when you're done, press start 2. Awesome. You guys are doing really well. So it seems like this one was a bit easier, which is great. You guys are all warmed up now. So now that you are aware of someone that you have a contract with, or some of you had, you saw multiple people, and I'm glad that it resonated that this can come really fast. So even before you're done asking the question, you can have your answer. You know, that's what integrating is all about. That's what telepathy is all about. So we're going to stick with the contracts for another round, and what you can ask this time is, show me a contract that I've completed in this lifetime. You may get a little more abstract answer, but just go with it. Okay, so it may be a face, it may be a name, but it may be something different. It may be a feeling. So get relaxed, go back to that place, breathe in, breathe out, and ask your angel to take you to the Akashic Records and show you a contract that has been completed in this lifetime. Okay, it seems like this one may be a little more difficult for you, and that's okay. So if you still haven't gotten an answer, be open to having that knowing sensation of knowing who the contract has been completed with. It may not even feel like it's coming from a psychic source. Or you can rephrase the question to Akashic Records, show me who I have completed a contract with. So show me who I have completed a contract with. Okay. So if that didn't work out for you so well, that's okay. You may not have completed a contract this lifetime. So just know that you're never doing anything wrong. It doesn't have to be about you. So keep an open mind. Know that nothing is something. You're still getting an answer, even if the answer is you haven't completed a contract with anyone. So on the handout, which you'll see in an email and in the Facebook group, there's a list of questions that you can ask on each of these topics, on the past life, contract, and soul blueprint. So you can always go back and ask your own questions, something that's more relevant to you, after class. So the last thing we're going to cover tonight is about your soul blueprint. So I don't know if you've heard this analogy before, but before we decide to come here and like be born into a baby, we pick out what we want to do. We pick our parents, we pick our name, and what the theme of our life is going to be, any major turning points that we're going to have, and we are in full control of what we are going to experience. We do have free will. We can't change anything at any point, but we normally pick at least a general theme that we want to explore, and it's up to us how far we take it. So for instance, if you are into jewelry and your theme is like creativity, you can get down here and think, well, my theme is creativity. Not that you're conscious about this, and then you decide you like jewelry, so you want to start making jewelry. Well, someone else who is, some other soul who is coming into that same life might think, my theme is creativity, but I really love to paint. And so that person's going to be a painter. So each soul brings its own spin to the life that it chooses. So even if a different soul were to come into your life, it would be totally different. So you have a unique soul blueprint and signature that you combine with the life that you're in. And we can ask questions about that, which is really cool. So many of us feel lost and like we're supposed to be doing something, but we don't know what it is, or we're looking for a teacher. We kind of know something's coming and we don't know who it is. Well, we can ask for clarity because we have already mapped this thing out. Okay, we've mapped out our lives, and we also know what we wanted to bring to this lifetime. So, for instance, you'll bring forth certain experiences you've had as a soul, certain gifts that you have as a soul, and that's what you're going to continue with in this lifetime. So for me, it's being psychic and open and being a teacher and a leader, and those are the things I wanted to express in this lifetime. And I'm still actualizing them. I'm still working on them. But it's my drive to do so. Like when I'm not teaching, I'm totally miserable. And if I go too long between classes, that's how I feel. And that's how I know that that's my theme. When you're not doing your theme, you're not very happy. So there are a lot of questions you can ask about your soul blueprint. One of them is, what are my soul gifts? Or what star systems am I drawing from? Because, we don't just come to Earth. We go to lots of different places. And what we think of as aliens are really just, different places to go. We're an alien to them and they're an alien to us, but only because we're kind of used to thinking that Earth is the only way to go. There are many stereotypes that aliens are bad, but there are lots of bad people too. It's just the same with the world. And a lot of us bring certain characteristics from those other star systems to Earth. So you can ask about that. You can ask about your soul gifts. You can ask about your life theme. You can ask what you're here for, which is basically what your life theme is, or anything else that you've been wondering about yourself. we often, if we're interested in this topic of, being psychic and intuitive, we often kind of have these hunches about ourselves and we want to know if they're true or not. Well, you can go to the Akashic Records and ask those questions and get your answers. So I thought that a really fun question would be to get one gift. So ask the Akashic Records to give us one soul gift that we are bringing forward in this lifetime. So let's shake it out. Relax. Let go of any frustration. Give that nice ah sound. Or give a big yawn. Relax into your seat or your floor or your bed, wherever you are. And ask your angel to bring you to the Akashic Records and show you one soul gift from this lifetime. Okay, so if you haven't gotten anything, I would say, did you feel anything? Did you feel calmer? Did you feel a slight shift into love? Did you feel something within your body, because when you're asking, what is a soul gift that I'm bringing forward, it's often going to be some kind of emotional capacity. So there we go. So just ask yourself that. Okay, so I got a comment, someone isn't hearing things, and that's okay. So it's not always going to be a word. Remember, nothing is something. I'm open for questions now, though, so if you have an issue, type it out more clearly, like, are you experiencing anything at all? Are you feeling any sensation? And I can talk you through it. And if any of you have a question about today or the first class, you can press *2 or type it in the Q&A, and we can go over that. I'm happy even if you want to share your experience of today, whether it was what you wanted or what you didn't want, or it was just silly or funny. We've got a few minutes and we can do that. If you don't have any questions, I do have something that we can do, but feel free to ask because I'm here for that. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest is I would like one volunteer, and I'm not even going to tell you what you're volunteering for, but I want someone really brave to raise their hand. So if you're on the phone, press *2. Yay! Okay, so Donna is our volunteer. She got there first, but the rest of you will still get to have the same experience, just maybe not on the phone. Unless we have time, we might. So Donna is going to be our test subject. And what the rest of us are going to do is we're going to do a reading for Donna. So we're going to ask our angel to bring us to the Akashic Records and to give us a message for Donna that will help her in this lifetime. And you know what? That's kind of vague for the Akashic Records. So we're going to ask for one of Donna's soul gifts. All right? So that'll make it really clear. So on your own, you're going to get relaxed. Let go. Shake it out. And then say, okay, angel, please bring me to the Akashic Records and show me one of Donna's soul gifts. And allow yourself to receive the answer, and then press *2 or type your answer into the webcast when you're done. Awesome. We got some really, really great answers. And Donna, I'm going to unmute you for a second if that's okay, so that when I tell you these, you can respond. Actually, I need to get the answers from the other people on the phone first, but the people not on the phone said patience and a peacemaker. So let's see, I'm going to 263 number. Hello.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, is this Dion?
Yes. Now, the disadvantage is I do know Donna from the previous class. However, what came to me was warmth.
That's a great word. That's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Okay, so, and I know it is harder to do for people that you know because you're questioning, well, did I just know that or is it real? So I totally understand what you're saying there. And now I'm going to 748. Hello.
Hello.
And what did you get for Donna?
I just got a vision of her massaging someone's shoulders.
Aw. That's great.
I don't know what that means for her, but that's what I got.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so you got, Donna, patience, a peacemaker, warmth, and giving someone a massage. So now I'm going to pick up your line for a second. Hey.
Hey. That's funny. Yeah, I was a massage therapist. Yeah, so right on target with that. And yeah, Dion's right. I'm pretty warm. and honestly, I am a peacemaker too. I don't care for conflict, and I do try to help other people out because I see more sides to situations, and when people are angry, they can't see it. I mean, I know when to hold them and when to fold them. I'm not going to get involved with people's yick, but if I can help, I will. And I am patient, and sometimes it's so funny. I always thought I was really patient, and it keeps on unfolding. Like, just when you think you're patient, there's a million other things where I laugh sometimes with my higher self. I'm like, really? You do? Because it's like, I just can't. It's funny. I've learned patience more and more and more and more. But I always thought I started at a good level of patience. But just when you think you have it, it'll question you. But yeah, good calls all around.
That's awesome. Thanks, Donna. Thanks for being our guinea pig too, and for flying even when you didn't know what you're up for.
That's fine. It was my pleasure.
Okay, so we probably do have time for another one, and I think that Dion was the second one to raise her hand. So I'll go to you in a second, but I want to address a question that came in from Deborah. When she was first asking what is holding her back from doing her work that she wants to do, she got something strange, right? She got confetti yellow lines. So whether she saw it or heard it or she got that answer in some other way, to her it meant confetti yellow lines, and she had no idea what that meant. And so she kept asking, what does that mean? And what came to her was jumping fire. And I think that that's related. So just, Deborah, tell me that those two things are related, the confetti yellow lines and the jumping fire, because she's on the webcast, so I would just want to get clarity on that. But if they are connected and that's what the clarity was, a lot of times, and this is what I was talking about with the past life thing, we carry trauma from our past lives that we're not fully integrating. In other words, we haven't gotten over it. We haven't made peace with it. And for all of us who are naturally intuitive, we went through a lot of shit. We went through a lot of crap. I mean, think of all the nasty things they used to do to people who were a little out there, who had information to psychicness and who weren't afraid to share it, and who, even just slightly led on that they were aware of their intuition or had visions. You would be burned at the stake. You'd be buried alive. You'd be stoned. You'd be hung. You'd be drowned. I mean, they did everything possible in the not so distant past to people like that because they were afraid. So, it doesn't seem logically that we would be so terrified and so like going out of our way to avoid doing our work because of that, because it's so far away, it seems. But you have to remember that there's really no time. Time does not exist. We're living all of our lives simultaneously. Even if you can't get your head around that, it's true. So when we're feeling this trauma from seemingly hundreds of years ago, it's really not in the past. It's happening right now, and our bodies and our minds are reacting as if it's happening right now. And we all know our subconscious really creates our perspective, and it can hide things from us. It can make us sick. And so if you have that trauma running, you're never going to be able to do your work because you're always going to find a reason not to. And it's always going to seem really real. Like, of course I can't do my work. I'm sick today. Of course I can't do my work. That person never called me back, or I don't know how much to charge, or the list goes on. So in order to move forward, you have to integrate that trauma. So I hope that makes sense. Oh, sorry. I just went on a tangent, but she said the jumping fire was for Donna. So maybe, Donna, you had some past trauma. But I would say, Deborah, that the reason I'm connecting those two things is probably not a coincidence. And so just run with that and see if that makes sense for you. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to Dion, and we'll close out the class by doing a reading for her so you can flex your muscles. And then as your homework, you're going to do this for each other. So go into the Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, and say, hey, I would like a reading, and then reciprocate for each other, okay? So do readings for each other. If you're not on Facebook, then find someone in your world who you can do a reading for, okay? And have fun with it, for sure. All right, so now, everyone, I would love if you could get yourself relaxed again. Do what you need to do. Breathe, shake it out, move around. And then go ask your angel to bring you to the Akashic Records and show you one of Dion's soul gifts. That is so funny. You know, I muted myself because my chair is really loud and I was just talking. So I'm sorry that the wait was so long. So what we've gotten so far is really interesting. On the webcast, these people, they can't talk to each other. They're on just listening through the computer. And Deborah said music, dancing. And Vessel said singer. So very cool. And Chris said she sees trees, a beautiful park-like setting, and the ability to communicate with nature. And Kalina said health with a golden warmth. And so now I'm going to go to the phone. This is 748. What did you get for Dion?
It's funny. I got singing as well.
That is so cool. Awesome. Thank you. And now 751.
Ironically, I got strength of voice with Dion. And then, but I asked, after that, I asked, is it singing? And then the next message was that she has something to say for just causes. I don't know if that means she's going to sing it for just causes, but that was what I got. But certainly voice, it's funny.
That is awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now Dion, how does that feel?
Well, it's interesting. I don't see myself as being a gifted singer, although I would love that. But I do feel, you know, when we did the soul contract and I asked several questions, I do feel I didn't hear or see as much as what I felt. And I did a couple of times have sensations, you know, in my throat, collar area, as well as in my gut and in my, I assume my heart chakra, which is between my breasts, you know, kind of in the middle. So, you know, I do feel that in, like, over the past 8 to 10 years, that communication and not holding back as I used to, kind of, I've seen that transition happen. So I don't know whether the singing that some people felt might be more what Donna was saying, which was, you know, voice communication and, you know, standing up for things.
Yeah, it could be any of those, but I would say, have you ever, I mean, do you sing like just around the house, or have you ever taken lessons or anything?
I mean, I'm very bad because I don't always remember the complete lyrics, but I'm not a hummer, you know, but yeah, there are some times when I sing along when I'm listening to music in the car, and I kind of intentionally do it, you know, because I want my children to kind of see that joy or that avenue of expression.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. I mean, I would say there's definitely something there, even if it's just to exercise that chakra. So
right.
Yeah,
and then
that's great.
The other two things were the trees, beautiful park,
mm-hmm.
and then the other one was health with something.
A golden warmth.
With golden warmth. Okay. And what do you think the trees with the beautiful park might mean?
Well, the other part of that one was communication with nature. So,
that's...
Yeah, probably, you know, and again, communication. You know,
mm-hmm.
that you have an affinity for nature, you kind of understand it. You probably feel better when you're outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So all really great things.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone.
Awesome. So I will leave you to your own devices to hook up with people in the Facebook group or in your regular life. Have the experience of reading for someone and have someone read for you, because it's super, super fun. I just did that today, like I said, and it's just, you can't beat that kind of validation. It's always nice to have things you feel are true about yourself, or even things you maybe wouldn't connect, like with Dion. So, yay. Thanks again for coming to class. If you do have a question, you can press *2 if it's a quick one. We're a little over time. But otherwise, you can put it in the Facebook group, and I will answer it in between classes. Your handout is in the Facebook group, but Gretchen will also email it out to you. And thanks. I hope you practice this. You can get so much out of the Akashic Records. And I will talk to you next week. Lots and lots of love, everybody. Have a great night.